time.
That's bullshit, man.
Burnley 1, Brighton 2. Despite a fantastic run at the end of the season, which gives the Clarets their joint record highest total in a Premier League season. Simon's gone for something. Oh, there we go. In a Premier League season. We lose on the last day of the season to a Brighton side that have been poor for the majority of the season, but recently they've really started coming into their own and playing some decent football and stuff. So probably if we'd have played them at home earlier in the season, it might have been a different story. But they're getting better as the season went on, and I think they'll be all right next season now, quite comfortably. But I said that on the podcast this week. But we'll just have do the match reaction video then. Simon, your thoughts on the game?
Frustrating, stop-start, but it's been like that for a few, and we've won, and this time we didn't. So I can't really say more than that.
Jared?
Yeah, totally agree. It's just frustrating one today. Just the constant stop-start and then getting the goal disallowed and the penalty. Obviously, that's a bit could have gone either way, I guess. Obviously, we went on the look of that one. But just frustrating more than anything.
Yeah, Lee Dane says in the chat, we always play shat on the last games. That's what me and Simon were chatting about earlier. But I think that, I'm not, I couldn't give a shiny shit about the result. I'm not arsed that we've lost because we're already safe. I'd like to have got a point for the points record, but it's a joint points record, so that's a decent enough season in itself. But I think the most deflating thing for me has got to be Nick Pope not getting the Golden Glove. Simon?
Yeah, I'd like any Burnley player to come out with any accolade or award. It's massively sort of in our respect levels, because to death for being known as that like shit little club in the Premier League. It'd be nice to have got some sort of trophy out of it, even if it was an individual one. But it's been brilliant. It's been a brilliant season. We've equalled the points that we got the year we qualified for Europe. We could have won that game quite easily. There's been a few games that you think probably didn't deserve to win, and there's been other games where we battered teams. So it's just frustrating to not get that win on the last day when we've done all the hard work.
Johnny's just come back in time to give his thoughts on the game, and I know why he's done this because he wants to rant. So Johnny, go on.
I want to what?
You want to rant?
No. Like I say, apologies. My phone died. I've had to find a spare connector so I can go on. It's just been a disaster. So I apologise.
What are your thoughts on the game, though, mate? I know you spent the majority of the second half not watching it.
Typical last game of the season, weren't it, really? They took the foot off the gas and they had one foot on Ocean Beach in Ibiza. But good season overall, I think.
Yeah, but that's it, innit? It's a good season overall. However, it just ends disappointing. And I think the most disappointing thing is the fact that obviously Popey hasn't got the Golden Glove. But what do you think the main thing was, Sam? I'll ask you. The main thing was as to why we were so poor. Not poor, but so like didn't just play like Burnley.
I don't know. I think we had I've said this before today, before we went on the lab, that the media piled pressure on it with the Golden Glove thing, and then players were adding the pressure on by saying we're going to do everything we can to get him the Golden Glove. It was just a massive pressure that we don't normally have to deal with. Do you know what I mean? And I was just frustrated. I was disappointed, mate. It were well in our reach today, and I think we added too much pressure to ourselves.
Yeah, Johnny, would you agree with that, Jared? I'll let Johnny go first because you two can't hear each other. So, Johnny, you go first.
What did you say?
Just sort of talking about it. Simon thinks the reason why it was so the game has gone the way it has is because the pressure building up because people wanted Nick Pope to win the Golden Glove so much, and then when Brighton scored the early goal, it's just deflated the entire team, and that's why we've not been at his game.
Yeah, well, the past couple of games we haven't played particularly well, but we've been solid, and today we weren't. And I think that could be something to do with thinking about that too much, trying to keep a clean sheet where you just got to go out and play how we should. And we hadn't done that today. So poor game, and I'm just happy that was last game of the season, because if we had 5 games going in off that performance, then it wouldn't have been a good end to the season. But with that many players,
especially if we needed the points,
that many players out injured. It's
you know what? That's a good point. It's a good point that because they've all been injured for so long, I've kind of forgot that we do have so many players out. So it's worth remembering that. Yeah, we do have a second string pretty much out there at the minute, and a lot of the first team players aren't playing. So that is definitely one worth remembering. Well, thanks again, lads, and hopefully I'll see you all in about 8 weeks. Well, hopefully not. I will be on the turf, so I'll see you all at Manners or at Vintage Claret, Johnny, having your pink gin. But if not, we'll do another watch along.
We need to have
we'll have to go. we'll go for a drink then. Seeing as you go for a drink with Cuz, you go for a drink with Watch Along crew as well. We'll try and get something sorted in the summer. But thanks a lot. Keith Davenport says, well done, lads. Enjoy your summer. That we will. I'm sure we'll do a watch along for like a friendly in about 4 weeks. I'm sure the friendlies will start pretty much very, very soon. For example, I know those of you that watch the podcast and listen to the podcast know that I work for Bradford City. They're back in training this week for the start of next season, and they start the season at the same time that Burnley start theirs. So I can't see Burnley being off for that long, maybe 2-3 weeks at the very most. I'd say
3 weeks off, 2 weeks.
Is that what you've heard? Yeah, well, I thought they'd be off for 2, maybe a week holiday or whatever, but that makes sense. 2 weeks holiday, another week to get yourself sorted, then back into training next week. But we will do watch-alongs again next season. Hopefully we can sort out this new software and get Johnny and Jared and teach them how to use it. And all the old software will work again. But we're back next year. And if you do like the podcast, the next one will be out on Thursday as usual. So we'll see you in a bit.